Welcome to Eloquent Insights, the podcast where we explore the stories behind the most inspiring figures in various industries. Today we have a very special guest whose name is synonymous with elegance, expertise, and the entrepreneurial spirit. Jacque Mgido is a renowned Zimbabwean makeup artist and the visionary founder of Jacque Mgido Cosmetics. With a mission to celebrate diversity and enhance natural beauty, Jacque has become a trailblazer in the beauty world. Her brand caters to a wide range of skin tones and types, ensuring that everyone can find their perfect match. From working with high-profile celebrities to gracing the most glamorous fashion shows, Jacque's skill and creativity have left an indelible mark on the industry. Her journey is one of passion, innovation, and relentless dedication. Join us as hosts Oprah Manyika and Nicole Jamu as we delve into the story of Jacque Mgido, exploring her rise to prominence, the challenges that she's overcome, and the beauty secrets that she's discovered along the way. Whether you're a makeup enthusiast, an aspiring entrepreneur, or simply love an inspiring story, this episode is for you. So without further ado, let's welcome Jacque Mgido to the show.
If you lose yourself in the midst of being a parent of wife, you're in trouble. Big trouble. The biggest thing is, I promise you, that gratitude is super important. And it's not gratitude, but it's It's really that relationship that you have to have with a higher power. I don't care what you believe, who you believe in.
How important is having like a support system, and especially people that can help you determine what you like?
You know, because I just felt like the world is just, I don't know, things upside down. Like your heart, I mean, you just feel so confused and you're just like, oh, this is absolutely horrible. When I'm outside and I see somebody that's homeless, and then I look up and I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I promise, I'm fine. I'm gonna smile now.
Yeah.
So for me, that's super important. You know, when I wake up in the morning and put my feet down, I'm like, God, thank you for my twinkly toes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you want to look at this person, they come in, it's human beings. We just got that in us, right? They come in and then when you start talking to them, you're like, he's either a douchebag or he's either really sweet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, let's go back to like the beginning.
Yes.
Where did the brand start from? Like, how old were you? What was the journey like?
So I left America. I was in cosmetology school, I'll do hair because there wasn't a makeup school. Hated hair, but I'm glad I took it.
Yeah.
Because I first started with hair and nails, right? And then I started working behind a counter, working for Clarence Cosmetics. And yes, and I would just get promoted because I was just like really friendly and I knew how to sell. I was really great at that, right?
I love the confidence.
Oh my God, I knew how to sell. I mean, if you came to my counter, I got you. I mean, I treated you like a queen. I'll call you up. How you doing? Did you finish up? I was that person. And then, but I knew that something was missing. I watched Oprah, and she did a makeover of her before and after of herself. And her makeup artist completely turned her. And I said, I want to do that. And I didn't understand it. And I remember, and I got married really young. I got married at 20. And my husband was like, well, the only way to do that is to go to Hollywood. You're not going to do it in Washington, D.C. because that's not going to happen. So we took out a loan and we went to Hollywood because we found out that the school was about $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah, because that like includes all your stuff. And why that was expensive is because I was about to really do Hollywood makeup, which is pretty much the whole genre and understanding the whole genre, which is going to be editorial, weddings, makeup on TV, makeup for film, special effects makeup. So that's a big package.
Yeah.
And I did that. And I started working in Hollywood with big stars. Then all of a sudden I came to Zimbabwe. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get the recognition. And I'm not going to be, like, people are not going to take me in as my own people. So I decided, you know what, let me come to Zimbabwe and open up a business. My intention was not to open up a makeup business. My intention was just to make, just come and open up a business until a friend of mine, was like, I want you to meet some business people in Zimbabwe. And then I met one particular businessman who said to me, you keep talking about makeup. So maybe that is where you need to hone your talent. So that's where I started my makeup life.
Wow.
So that now is about 12 years ago, so 13 years ago.
But like you've spoken about, your family helping you through your self-discovery journey and just realizing that, maybe veterinary school wasn't for you. You needed something more artistic. How important is having like a support system, and especially people that can help you determine what you like?
So when I say family, I don't mean my immediate family as in my father, because he didn't get it. Because you have to go to school to become a doctor. Right? He didn't understand it. He didn't want to hear about it. It was more of my sister, who was just like, I'm in America and I get it, right? And that is so important. I was lucky that I had that. I think what tends to happen is it's not that your parents here in Zimbabwe don't want you to. They don't understand. Ignorance is bliss, right? They don't understand that you can actually make a career for yourself and make a lot of money, right? And so that's really important for the parents, every parent out there, right? Don't be so close-minded, because I know it's fear. Because if you feel like, oh my God, if my child doesn't get this education, that's what we're told by the colonizers, right? If you don't get an education and work for somebody else, you're not going to make it in life, right? Not everybody's an entrepreneur, because I know everybody in Zimbabwe is an entrepreneur, but we need to hone it in. You have to work for someone. Sometimes you have to work for something. You just don't have that gift, right? But the art space is so important, because I'll tell you this, the world is run by art. The artists are also extremely creative, right? That art space is super important. So if you can say to your kids, hey, definitely go to school, because you need that sense of education. You need to be in a society that is a little bit controlled, because a lot of times artists, one of the biggest things that I've seen, because I am more mature, if they don't go to a school that kind of guides them, they tend to be like this, right? And that's why people are like, more artists, something's off. So we need to kind of put them in some kind of form, for them to be able to actually really perform. So that's super important.
Wow. Like, I think also some of it is art hasn't been that explored in Zimbabwe. I myself studied film and theatre arts in school, in uni. And I remember my dad saying, it's either you change your degree or I'm not paying for your fees. And I had to stand my ground and say, well, this is what I have passion for. So sometimes it's unfamiliarity. They don't know if you're going to break grounds. Are you going to make enough money out of it, and all of that? But it really was a difficult decision even to make. But I can only imagine how difficult it was for you, like still being on a self-discovery journey and doing that in a foreign country.
But this is why it's so important to see somebody of like, somebody that looks like you. This is why it's so important for boys, girls, men, to see me. Because I embody the Zimbabwean person that is working in Hollywood. There's no other African makeup artist working in Hollywood.
Wow. Yeah,
right?
That's big.
It's either they're either doing weddings, or it's either somebody comes in and does, but to be in a union, it's a union makeup, right? To be able to be in there and say, hey, is there another Black African in here? There's no other. So how can a parent possibly say, go and do that when they haven't seen somebody like me? So that's why it's just so important to have representatives in the field, so that we can educate our African parents. It's like if an African parent sees a kid doing football, especially now, they're more inclined to say, hey, no, it's a football.
Yeah, because they've seen others.
There's so many examples of Africans doing well in football. So, there's so many examples of parents seeing sport. They would rather you get into sport than you get into anything else. But even with sport, it gets a little bit difficult. But more and more people who are successful, they're more inclined to say, it's okay.
Was there ever a time that you felt less? Because you're coming from Zimbabwe. You're this young girl in these big rooms. There's the race card. There's also age, and you're female.
Did I feel, you mean less in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because, let me tell you what's interesting. In the white community, I did not feel less. In the black community, I did feel less.
Oh, wow. The irony.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. Like, please explain a little bit more, because I don't know.
You see, in America, there's such a big division between Africans and Americans. And I always say the reason why there's such a big difference between African Americans, because we are brothers and sisters. We didn't grow up together. So when we come together, we're so alike in so many ways, but we want to be so different because one thinks they're better than the other.
Yeah.
So you'll have a Black American going, I'm in a place where things are happening and things are working out, and we are so advanced. We have these houses because they're hearing something completely different.
Yeah.
And then we have the Africans who are like, excuse me, I have the culture. I am
I'm
the
New
African.
I'm the real African.
So I'm the real African here. You might as well,
Yeah.
people in their white land.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the Black Americans are like, you are not civilized in the white land that we are used to.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So there's that conflict, right? So, and also that judgment. So, and a lot of times, if you are working in the industry, a lot of Black Americans will have their own people that they've grown up with because they trust that. They can't trust me. I'm coming from Africa. I don't know about them. They trust them with everything, right? You have a makeup artist, they're in your space. They know everything about you. They tend to want about it, right?
Yeah.
And then you feel less than, because now you have to kind of prove yourself. And then you don't know, do I act kind of American? And they're like, I sound stupid saying all these things, right?
Yeah.
And then, you were like, you hip hop, actual? And then you're like, I didn't grow up like
I
this.
don't know
I don't know this. And then somebody hears you speaking and like, she's so white. And then you're like, but I'm not.
Oh my God.
So, and I also think that, it's Black people, we have a sense of curiosity. And this is where we all are like, you get into space with a lot of Black people. There tends to be a quietness and a look. We look at ourselves, we look at each other up and down, right? When you get into an environment where there's white people, it's very much, and it might be fake. It's just like, hello,
Yes.
welcome,
Yes.
this is so beautiful to have you here. Whether it's real or not, you feel a little bit more comfortable. With Black people,
You feel the judgment.
you feel the judgment.
100%.
Oh my goodness.
So isn't that, I know people are going to get me for that, but
It's true. I can
it's just
relate.
what it is.
100%.
It's just what it is.
100%. But you mentioned that you got married quite early, at 20. Was that limiting at all to pursue your dreams?
No, because we had kids much later. I had kids when I was like 34.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think my husband and I had decided. It's funny, we didn't even talk about it. We knew that having kids earlier on was going to deter me from doing what I really wanted to do. So by the time I had Munya, I accepted her and I really wanted her. And there was nothing that was just in my way. You know what I mean? I wasn't missing out on going out or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was like in my realm.
Yeah. But does she know that mom does this and she loves it? Because a lot of the times you come to Zim and she's not with you.
Yeah.
Does she ever feel like my mom is not there for me, or I have to share my mother with thousands of other people?
She totally does. But you know what? My baby is just, and I'm not just saying this to say it, I think reminding your kids every single time why you're doing what you're doing, right? And the truth of the matter is, when I come to Zimbabwe, this is actually my happiest place. Not that I'm not happy with my family, but this is my happiest place.
Because this is home.
Because this is home.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're in America, when you're in Europe, when you're all over the place, right? I'm telling you, every African that you see there, as much as they've made a home for themselves, we are never accepted.
We are.
Wow.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
We never accept. You know you've lived.
Yes.
You know you've lived. We never, our hearts are not there. For some reason, you get on the flight and you get off that flight and you're like, I am in Zimbabwe! Oh my God,
Finally home. Yeah.
I can relate
Right.
100%.
So Munya is American. The child is born at the beach. She's a beach baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then she's 16. They are so busy. They're doing camping and stuff. So when I say to her, come with me to Zimbabwe, she's like, Mommy, I'm so busy. But next time I'll come with you. But she's also very tight with my husband. So she's like, whatever. And then later on when we're together, she's like, "You're such a good mommy. I do miss you at times, but we make up for it."
Oh, that's sweet. It's actually got me a bit emotional now because I had such a strong relationship with my mom, although it was never vocal. "Oh, I love you, mom," or my mom saying to me, "Oh, I love you," which I think is quite common with a lot of Zimbabwean parents. But there was always that love, and I hated it every time she had to go visit or when I had to go to school. So I always used to wonder, like, how does Jackie feel leaving her daughter behind to come pursue?
Oh my God, I can't tell you the guilt, but then I also have to look at the legacy. As Africans, we don't leave legacies. Yeah. And I'm not talking legacies as in money. I'm talking legacy as in money. We are disappearing. You talk about Zimbabwe, you talk about companies. Do we still have companies that have Zimbabwean names on it? I want my daughters, cousins to be like, "Oh my gosh, you know what? There's a woman that absolutely changed the game in Zimbabwe." That's super important for me. It's all about legacy. My dad used to say it. My dad used to say, "Your name is the only thing you have."
I love that you said that, because I think that a lot of the times when women become mothers, they're expected to just be mothers. And I love that you can kind of like separate the two. Like, I'm Jackie, I still have my goals and dreams to pursue, but I have a daughter and my daughter understands exactly where I'm headed to. I think that's amazing.
Well, you know what? My husband is the one that understood. If your husband can understand that if mommy's not happy with her son, they'll never be happy because they'll always keep chasing. They might not express it because of guilt, but that depression catches up with them. If you lose yourself in the midst of being a parent, a wife, you're in trouble. Big trouble. Because by the time you want to catch up, you're going to be bitter. And my husband understood that early on in the game. He understood that I'm an artist. And he understood that I could be a mother, but he understood that we need to be a team.
But that's very important, actually, what you said. There's actually a trend, I would say, like as soon as Zimbabwean women get married, they let go of themselves completely and join the beauty industry, which is amazing that you say that, because why do you think that is, and what do you think that we can do as Zimbabwean women to?
Again, it's having that partner. Because we've been told by our mothers are mothers and mothers. I actually remember on my wedding day, my older sister, who I love, right? But she's older, And she said to me when I was going to dance, she said, "Vasikana vakarurwa vachatamba." Moto gara pasi, moshibata.
And that's another thing as well.
It's like you can't be yourself anymore.
But that's what she was taught, right? Because, your tetes, if you don't shibata, then you are like crazy. And then your in-laws are going to see you as crazy. And that has to change. I didn't change. You know what my husband said to me? He whispered to me and said, "We're paying for this wedding. You better dance like you do." Because at the end of the day, guess who's in bed with you? It's you and I, baby. It's not you and I, sister, cousin, mother-in-law. It's you and I. So you better dance. And you know what I did? I had this big puffy dress. I did this. And I said, "Let's go!" And I danced like no man's business. And at the end of the day, my sister just accepted that. She was like, "I know." It is what it is. So what I noticed, actually, when Volt first started, that generation that came before when Volt started, they've all disappeared. And they've disappeared into their homes. What I'm trying to do is get that woman to come back and say, hey, come and find yourself again. It's fine with makeup. There's a lot because there's a lot that happens hormonal. And then there's a lot that happens as a mother. And there's a lot that happens with maturity. I am an older woman, right? You lose a lot of yourself. You lose, your brows start coming off, your eyes start sinking in, your lips start sinking in. So what I'm saying is confine yourself through makeup, because you tend to bring all those things back out and you can find yourself. Do you know why a lot of people get really depressed? is because when they pass that mirror, they don't see them. They see this older person. They see this person that they don't even know. So they take two decisions. Either they do something about it, but that's only if they have friends that I encourage them, or family members or husband that's encouraged them to do something about it, or they just say, yeah, and
But-
really just change that.
You know, you speak so much about your husband when you initially met. Did you know that he was the one?
Absolutely not. I
You
did not.
didn't?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. I never know how that means. Like, I just knew that we were attracted to each other, we liked each other.
Yeah.
We never thought of marriage. But the only reason why I did get married really early is, and my parents, by the way, didn't know for 4 years. But myself,
Yeah.
I know, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But I knew that I did not want to stay with a guy. I didn't want him to milk the cow without buying the cow.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not giving this milk for free.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, you better put a ring on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll deal with the parents later.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's crazy because 20 up until now and you're still going.
We're still going.
Amazing.
We're still going.
Amazing. And she still has the same energy. I mean, there's not a day that I've met Jackie and she's salty. She's just this all the time. Is there a secret to this? Do you maybe feel like you married the right person that's always cultivating the happier side?
I don't depend on my husband for my happiness.
Mm.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because if I depend on my husband for my happiness, you'd be really miserable.
Yeah.
Because it's up and down. You like him sometimes, you honestly don't like him the next time.
Yeah.
You see him as handsome today, tomorrow you're like, what the hell?
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
And then you come together because you know that you have history together, right? And that's super important.
Yeah.
The ups and downs are super important to acknowledge, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And when we've acknowledged those, we can move on. But I do not depend on him for my happiness. I depend on me for my happiness. Most of all, when I start feeling a little bit, because the thing is, I'm a high person.
Yeah.
I can be a low person. So my personality is like, whoa, and then I'm like, oh,
It's too extreme.
it's so
Yeah.
extreme.
Yeah.
But I found balance in gratitude.
Yeah.
Because I always feel like every single time I feel like I'm my worst, and I feel like, oh my God, I just want to end my life. I used to feel like that a lot, where I'm just like, I really want to die. I just want to die.
Who would have thought?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? You know, because I just felt like the world is just, I don't know, things are upside down. Like your heart, I mean, you just feel so confused, and you're just like, oh, this is absolutely horrible.
And I feel like that's what defines the 20s for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And especially now with social media,
Right,
it
right.
puts extra pressure on you.
Oh my God.
You go on your
Yes.
Instagram and everyone is thriving.
But
Someone
can I
just
tell
bought a
you,
car.
It's not
and-
even just
yeah.
in your 20s. This is the funny part, right? That people don't understand.
Mm.
So in your 20s, it's so extreme because you're so young and sensitive.
Yes. Yeah.
In your 30s, it's so extreme because you're older and sensitive. In your 40s, it's so
Even
extreme.
more extreme.
So it doesn't matter what age you are,
Wow.
because you're going to feel that extreme.
Yes.
People can start depression much later on in life, you know, because of things that happen in life, yeah? And the pressure of what happens in life.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is, I promise you, that gratitude is super important. And it's not gratitude, but Instagram.
Mm.
It's really that relationship that you have to have with a higher power. I don't care what you believe, who you believe in, right? But it's that one-on-one where the universe, God, is saying to you, oh, so you're feeling really shitty, huh? Can I say that on TV?
It's all right. It's all right.
You're feeling really horrible, right? But I just want to let you know who's really feeling horrible. That person that is dying of cancer. Oh, you want to be that person? Okay, choose. I'm going to put a whole bunch of stuff here for you that everybody's going through. Go ahead and pick which one you want. You're going to pick your own because you can handle that.
Yeah.
So you can actually handle those things, right? So that gratitude, the gratefulness, where you start feeling, by the way, let yourself feel that way, but know when to level out,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And you know when I level out, when I feel that way? When I'm outside and then I see somebody who doesn't have legs. When I'm outside and I see somebody that's homeless. And then I look up like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I promise, I'm fine. I'm going to
Yeah.
smile now.
Yeah.
So for me, that's super important. You know, when I wake up in the morning and put my feet down, I'm like, God, thank you for my twinkly toes. I'm good.
And I'm happy you mentioned gratitude because Opie, I don't know if you remember that we actually spoke about this on one of our episodes, and we were speaking of being grateful for the small things, like just being able to wake up in bed. And I always make this funny joke that when I got my braces and I found out that I had no biting power, eating an apple became the most difficult task. And it wasn't until then that I realized that having a good set of teeth is actually a blessing because going out to eat food was so much harder. And it's not until maybe you lose something that you realize that that one meal a day was actually the best thing that could happen to you at that time.
Right. And also, I have to tell you, you're talking about social media and how difficult social media is, and you see somebody doing really well, and you're just like, oh my God, what they're doing, and you see somebody with a great house, and you're like, damn, what am I? What happens, I do feel that pressure, sometimes when I'm like, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough to get there, right? And then I come back to my senses because I remember a friend was doing so well. It was an acquaintance, and I was like, wow, man, they're doing so well and everything. And then I talked to them for 2 seconds, and they said, I have cancer. And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I'll stick to what I have, Lord.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? So when you look at people on social media and you're like, man, they're doing what they're doing, you know what you want to do? You want to be like, man, I love what they're doing. Yeah. I'm going to work to get to that. Be inspired instead of feeling uninspired.
Yes.
Be inspired and be like, I might get there one day.
Yeah.
But and then the people that are criticizing you, guess what? They're just as insecure. Yeah. And that's why they're doing that, so they can make themselves feel better. So you just have to remember that.
Wow.
You know what? This is one of the most beautiful conversations we've had on the show.
That's so true.
Everything that you speak of, it's so heartfelt. And I think it just says a lot about you as a person. And it says a lot about where you have come from and where you are now and why you are here now. So
it's still growing, by
you're amazing as a woman.
Amazing. I'm curious to know, you have Munya as your baby. One thing that you feel is the biggest takeaway from having you as a mom?
Oh gosh, kindness. Kindness.
Which is what you spoke of.
Kindness. For me, can I just tell you, having a human being that is kind, there's a lot of things you're going to get away with in life. You know why? Because people, no matter what, people say to me all the time, people take advantage of you, Jacque, you do all these things and stuff. And then I say, you know what? My bucket of life, of me just living, I fill it in every day with a coin of a favor. So when I'm about to, an accident's about to happen, I always say, my angels are like, oh, let's take out that coin. Go ahead, God, can we just use this for her right now? Because she's about to be in trouble. So for me, I always feel like it's just like a whole bunch of coins that I'm putting in together for that rainy day. So my Munya is the kindest child you will ever meet if you are crying. So that means that I'm bringing a good human on earth. And that to me is everything. We need good humans.
This is such a beautiful conversation. I wish we could go all day long.
I really do as well, because after this, what are you doing, Jacque?
Well, after this, I've got a lot to do. After this, I'm about to do some prosthetics with somebody really famous. Yes.
I think we already know who it is. Because we've seen some work on social media.
We're about to pump some people, so you better look out.
Amazing. Okay. That's great.
So we have, before we close it off, we have this challenge, I would like to call it. But it's not exactly a challenge. So it's a game that we play. And you have to finish it off with either a quote or a life statement that you live by. Could be from you or someone who inspires you. And so we say, a wise woman once said, and you have to finish off the statement.
A wise woman once said, every woman is the neck and every man is the head. You are able to control that head.
I love that.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm taking that everywhere.
just know that.
Yeah.
You're the neck, baby. They think they have the control, but you
Well, thank you so much for tuning in on another episode of Eloquent Insights. It's a podcast for women by women. My name is Oprah. I'm a lovely host of Nicole Jamu. Thank you so much, Jackie, for being on the show. We love this show. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.